Tell me, have you ever spent time enjoying the multitude of the colors of the sky instead of just looking through the window, whether was it raining or not? Or have you ever took a decision just following an intuition from your heart, even if everybody surrounding you was considering you a fool? Or have you ever done something that moved someone's heart to make her or him cry? Well, back 2 years ago, my answer to all these questions would have been no. Those days, I was studying computer science at the University of Florence, and I was the kind of student who studies very hard, being selected among the best students of the country since high school, but those efforts were not done for pursuing a dream, rather just for my sense of duty. And you know what? I was aware of this. I was aware that I was good in acquiring knowledge from textbooks, but I was completely failing in the capability of reading inside of my heart. But I was not finding the courage to face with my feelings, with my intuition. And later on, I realized how stupid it was. Hiding from myself when I got a kind of small message from the destiny. It was just how I entered university, because one day at the bookstore, I saw an advertisement of a local magazine which was looking for comic artists. Even if I used to read them when I was a kid, I never tried to draw them, but when my eyes were following the words written on that paper, something clicked somehow in my mind, and once back home, I started drawing, aiming at that contest. And after a few weeks, I was still there. I was still dedicating all my free time to drawing, because I was discovering a new word. I was discovering a new myself, my truer self. Because not simply drawing was entertaining, but at the same time I realized I had in front of my eyes a new world in which communicating my feelings, experiences, and thoughts to the others was not an abstract romantic vision, instead something truly possible. And I was so captured by this that for me, there was no choice other than to dedicate all my time and efforts to drawing. So I took the decision of leaving studies at university, but at the same time, I promised myself not just to become a comic artist in Italy, but to aim at the top, which for comics is Japan. And indeed, nobody agreed with my decision, with the exception of one person, my mother. Because it's absolutely true that Italian moms are always there to love you and support you. And I really needed that, because for something like 4 years, I was just applying to contests of Japanese publisher, but I was just failing and failing and failing. Nevertheless, I was not regretting my decision, because I felt I was dedicating my life to something worth of. But then, in 2008, the day came. I clearly remember the sensation of growing joy, the sense of freedom, but at the same time, the peace with myself. Have you ever experienced that wonderful sensation of the moment in which everything comes together? In which all the moments of your life match perfectly, like the pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. Well, 2008 gave me those moments, because I had the honor of becoming the first non-Asian of the history to win awards both as a comic artist and as an illustrator of one of the biggest publishers here in Japan, and then to get a contract for a comic. And I was so thrilled when I came to Japan, because the result of all my efforts was becoming concrete, as my dream was becoming reality. But to tell the truth, that was not my arrival. It was just the time for a new departure. Because once in Japan, one day, this time it was not at the bookstore, but it happened that, I met a girl, and I thought, wow, che bella, And, I realized that I was in love with her. So when her birthday came, I thought I wanted to express my feelings in a special way, doing something I never did before, painting a portrait. I thought that it would be a wonderful present for her. But actually, it turned out being the greatest present that I could ever receive. I'm talking about her happiness when she saw her portrait, because in that moment, she made me realize that she made me think, for the first time in my life, that I might have a gift worth sharing with the others. And it may sound very ironic, because when I was in Italy, I was, dreaming about the Japanese culture of drawing comics. But once in Japan, after that portrait, I started feeling much more closer with my own culture. I started rediscovering it. So I proceeded further and further with my studies, practice, researches. I studied books by Cellino Cennini, Leonardo da Vinci, drawings by Michelangelo, paintings by Caravaggio. The world of comics was not fitting me anymore. Now my heart was beating for fine art. And again, in front of the hypothesis of the new challenge of abandoned comics for fine art, I hesitated. But again, I decided to be completely honest with myself, with my feelings, because life is too precious to live with regrets. And luckily enough, once I substituted my desk with an easel, my first solo exposition in Italy brought me to the ENI Award of the Best Young Artist of the Year. So, my experience tells me that if we start being completely honest with ourselves, if we find the courage of facing with our feelings and desires, we will not look back at our lives, not recognizing us anymore, not doing a job we do not fit into, and not being unable to take enough care of the people we love. In other words, we will find our path to happiness. And so surround yourself with something that can give you emotions, with something that can make you think deeper. Go to museums and look for what the old masters wanted to share with the world. Then get contact with nature. Schedule time for reading books and poetry. Then slowly savor a dish instead of just eating it. And I'm sure you will find something new inside yourself, because you can be an artist. And I think that you too can be an artist. Everybody can be an artist, because being an artist, from my point of view, means discovering your truer self through being passionate about what you do and find a meaning that connects you with the others. Being you an oil painter or a musician, or being you a chef or a scientist. So I want you to see the world full of beauty and happiness, which is waiting for those who can be sincerely honest with themselves, for those who are not afraid of sharing their emotions. And that's why I brought this today with me for you. Hit reset, start with a blank canvas, and find your own way to your true self. Thank you.